What's that noise you're making over there? I'm pretty sure the people can hear that, but now I transitioned, so we're live now. What's going
Oh,
on?
are we?
Yeah. So I heard you. Yeah.
The
Oh, whoops.
the Joey Diaz podcast. Whenever Theo Von was on there and Lee was high as hell,
Yeah.
Theo said he kept hearing this noise coming through the fucking microphone. He thought it was the technology acting up, but it was just Lee.
Yeah, it was Lee going. Yeah. Whenever I need a good laugh or I need a good smile, I just look up Joey Diaz, like funniest moments, or Joey Diaz Theo Von funniest moments. And when they're on the church, bro, that shit makes me geek.
Yeah, dude. Lee's hilarious. Theo called him a walkie-talkie. Because that's that little fucking walkie-talkie doing the human gumball machine.
You ever see the ones with him and Greg Fitzsimmons on the church?
I don't even know who that is.
Bruh, I'll send you the video. There's a couple great stories that Joey tells when Greg Fitzsimmons is on the podcast. And again, anytime I need a good laugh, I just look that one up and I fucking die. One's about Puerto Rican Nelson. You ever hear Joey talk about Puerto Rican Nelson?
Yeah, you sent me that.
Yeah. That's with Fitzsimmons, and then the other one is whenever Joey talks about in the, I won't give it away, but he's in the hotel room and what he does as his hotel routine, and just it's classic. It's classic. Oh, all right, Harrison. Well, I mean, what we're here for, right? The ultimate market professionals. We're taking a look at the cryptocurrency, the current state. It's over. Just to give you guys like a little heads up, I did hear it's over, so I would sell.
Correct.
All your positions. Ollie, I know you hold a lot of Brett. Sell it. Put it into British pounds. It's done. It's over. But we're going to talk about how the election tomorrow, what the effects are going to be on the markets and what we think the different outcomes could be and how that would actually play out in the long term and in the short term in the markets. And then I'm going to go over a couple of positions that I have with you guys that have been making me a lot of money still, even though alts are bleeding pretty hard. Some smaller cap coins that I've gotten into that have done pretty well, 2.5x already on a couple of them. Talk about the theses for those, why especially MSTR 2100, super bullish on that one. I like that one a lot, and it has not been bleeding since all the alts have been bleeding too. It keeps going up. And I'll show you guys how I did the Fibonacci numbers on that and how we topped out on the fibs. I figured out how to use fibs, by the way. Yeah, come on, Harry. I'm learning. So I got the fibs on there. And so I'll show you guys how to use the fibs to check out how tops happen on price discovery. Because whenever something's in price discovery, there's no TA to go based off. There's no support. There's no resistance, etc. It's literally just fucking in the ether. So people use fibs to try to call different levels whenever things are in price discovery. So anyways, tomorrow we have the election. I know that, you've been campaigning super hard with the Kamala administration. Can't even say it with a straight face.
We're gonna bring it home. That's what everyone wants.
So Logan's been doing his thing, and this is the beauty of financial markets and crypto, right? Two guys on completely different ends of the political spectrum. I'm with Trumpino and Vancino. Logan's with Kamala and the other guy, who's Tampon Tim.
The Wizard of Walls.
Yeah, the Wizards of Walls, the guy who was at Tiananmen Square standing in front of the tank, that famous picture of the guy standing in front of the tank, that was Tim Walls. So very, very electric duo. And so they're trying to bring it home for tomorrow. So anyways, what are your thoughts on the election and how that's actually going to affect cryptocurrency, if you have any different takes on it since last time we talked?
I mean, I know last week whenever we were talking, I was saying I don't really think. I mean, I think that there's a lot of hesitancy in people right now. I think a lot of people are expecting the election to have a lot bigger of an impact on the market than it's going to. And I think that's why it probably will end up having a pretty significant impact. Just because there's so many people that, Yeah, I mean, especially with the altcoins as well. I think a lot of people are holding things that are a little bit more stable right now, like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and potentially rotating stuff into stable coins just because of the unpredictability and the volatility coming with the election coming up. But yeah, I mean, I know obviously Trump's been very pro crypto. He's talked about creating the Bitcoin reserve, and I mean, I'm sure it's going to outperform with Trump winning versus Kamala, but I really I haven't followed her too much. It's hard for me to genuinely watch anything she says with it. It just makes me cringe super hard. But I try and force myself to pay attention to what she's saying and what her plans are. But really, I haven't heard her talk about any kind of policy that she's really trying to push. I mean, I feel like Democrats have been kind of known for that. Like, with Obama, it was Obamacare. That was his big thing that he was trying to implement. With Biden, I can't remember the names of his programs, but he had like the big thing for the environment was like the big deal that he was pushing. As far as Kamala, I mean, she's been in office for 4 years, and I have no idea what her plan is at all.
No idea.
I know there was a Photoshop picture of her in a McDonald's uniform from 20 years ago that wasn't real, which is interesting. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't really think it's going to tank. I think it's going to perform well, whoever wins, just because it's out of the way and in the rear view, in my
Right.
opinion.
Yeah. So basically, what I've been seeing on the price action, we'll get into the charts here in a second. I'll pull up some charts. Is because Trump was becoming so favored for the election in recent time, last week or two, you saw the markets pricing in the Trump victory. And so you saw Bitcoin go back up to its all time highs, retest that. You saw other things starting to rip. Altcoins were starting to perform better. And so it's not necessarily that the markets are going to care so much for one candidate or the other, which I agree with. The winner ultimately won't decide whether or not there's going to be a bull run. There will be a bull run. But what markets don't like is uncertainty. So the fact that they've priced in Trump so heavily over the last couple of weeks in the markets, now that the odds are becoming a lot more in favor of Kamala, now, not in favor in the sense that she's more likely to win, but her odds have risen quite a bit. That's now creating some uncertainty. And that's why you saw over this weekend, as her odds were jumping up and Trump's were coming down, you saw Bitcoin start to puke and altcoins took a fucking beating. Because it's not that they necessarily think that Kamala would prevent a bull run. It's because it's the uncertainty of it. They had already priced in Trump. Now that it could be wrong, which based off of the odds, now you're seeing a lot of volatility because of that, which is not good. So you don't want to see uncertainty. So best case scenario, I would say for tomorrow is, regardless of who wins, you want a decisive victory. So if somebody wins decisively, that's good, because now we have certainty in the outcome. It's a binary outcome. We just want certainty of it. If Kamala wins, you're definitely going to see a local time frame, a very local price action to the downside. You're going to see shit, it's going to drop for sure because they priced in Trump so hard. But 3 to 6 months from now, market will still be in a bull run. Like, it'll still go up. But I believe it'll be a muted cycle because objectively, Democrats have been a lot more difficult with crypto and have been a lot more predatory towards the crypto industry. That's objective. You can take a look at it from the Biden administration. You can take a look at it from the senators that are Democratic that vote that way. And for Trump, again, objectively, whether you believe he's going to do it or not, has been stupidly bullish crypto. Just literally just bullish crypto. Bitcoin's going to get made here. I want to make it so that we're the leading country for the crypto industry, et cetera, et cetera. So that's just objective. So if Trump wins overall in terms of the explosivity of the bull market, it will be bigger. So Trump overall for the bull market, in terms of how much upside we can get, will be better. But either candidate, Bitcoin's still going into price discovery. So I think the big point for right now is you don't want to get too caught up in the local price action because it is going to be volatile. That's just how it is. Markets don't like unpredictable situations. But in terms of short-term price action, yeah, Kamala's going to be bad. Trump will be good. Overall, either candidate doesn't really matter. It's going to still perform well. So, anything on that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. You had talked about the ETFs with Bitcoin.
Uh-huh.
I don't think we talked about that last week. I think we talked about that over this past week since last Monday. Do you want to explain that a little bit and kind of what you see coming up with that?
Yes. I'm gonna get right into that, but I just saw Ollie put in the chat, I've traded all my Brett for ETH. That was a joke, Ollie. So I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So now we have influence, so we gotta be a little bit more careful, I guess, about what we say.
Hopefully he's joking too.
I hope he's joking. He said, I can't get it into Great British Pounds. I think he's being serious. Good thing about base, Shane, why I'm so bullish on base, is Ollie probably only spent 1 cent for that transaction. So it's not the end of the world.
Do it back.
Yeah. But Ollie, that's actually not a terrible idea, because if Kamala wins, Brett's going to go way fucking lower. So it is actually better to hold ETH going into the election. So I would actually say, Ollie, since you've already traded it into Ethereum, just don't. I'm not joking. Yeah, I figured he wasn't. So leave it in Ethereum, Ollie. Don't touch it. And then if Trump wins, immediately buy back into Brett. If Kamala wins, Brett's going to dip lower, and then just buy Brett whenever it goes lower. Make sense? So it's actually not.
Yeah, I mean, with
bad.
the gas fee, with the gas fees being that cheap, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't. It is on base, thank God. Yeah, Ollie, just don't do anything. I was definitely kidding though about selling all your Brett. What you should be doing right now is buying more Brett. So I would just buy
Saying
more
it because
Brett.
I'm being negative.
Exactly. So, okay. So ETFs. So we were talking about the ETFs, and okay. So yeah. So here's the other thing too with the bull market. You guys have to understand that markets are manipulated. Okay. You don't want to be naive and assume that we live in a society where everything's 100% fair and free and da 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 da. The reality of it is Bitcoin is such a larger asset that the only people who can actually move the price on Bitcoin are people who have hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay. How do I know something like this? Well, for example, there was a guy just last week who sold ticker Bitcoin, which is the meme coin of Bitcoin. He sold, I believe it was $2 or $3 million worth of ticker Bitcoin. Okay. He literally took that $3 million and turned around and just went and bought regular Bitcoin with it. $3 million worth of Bitcoin. Obviously, Bitcoin's price did not fluctuate at all because of that. So think about that. You could buy 10, 15, $20 million of Bitcoin, and that buy won't move the price of Bitcoin in and of itself, right? So think about how much capital you have to move the price of an asset that's over $1 trillion. Okay, Bitcoin's an over $1 trillion asset. $10 million buy is not going to move that fucking price. So the point I'm making is that now, this year being the first year that financial institutions are now legally able to go ahead and trade these assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum whenever they approve the ETFs, this now allows people who can actually manipulate the market. Well, I mean, they were already manipulating it behind the scenes, but now expose retail to it. Companies like BlackRock, the other companies that are sponsoring these ETFs, all they've been doing for the last 8 months is manipulating the price between this range of 72, 73,000 and down to 52, 55,000 so that they can go ahead and get their positions in for their ETFs, so they can get their average cost down towards the $55,000, $60,000 range, towards the bottom of that range. All they're doing is getting their positions in so that whenever the bull market does start, they're making a shit ton of money for not only themselves, but obviously their clients as well. So the point we were making is that there's no fucking way that there are billions and billions of dollars of asset or of liquidity going into Bitcoin and Ethereum this year for the price to just tank. It's simply not going to happen, because these people are in the business of making money, right? So they're going to make money. They're not going to do everything they possibly can to position themselves at around a $55,000, $60,000 average cost per Bitcoin to then just send it down to $30K or $40K. It just literally will not happen. So the point is that you shouldn't be worried about the local price action, because what these big institutions do is they put in big buys, to start pumping price, so then everybody else starts jumping in to pump price even higher. Once you get to the top of the range, they start selling in large amounts to then start shoot the price back down. Everybody gets afraid, and they shoot the price back down. We can sell their bags, and then once they get to the bottom of the range, that's when they come back in and they scoop it up more for their average price to be lower. So this is all they've been doing for the past 7 months, 8 months. This is typical market manipulation so that these big guys can get their positions in. Now, we've been doing that for 8 months. Again, we're not going to go down. We're going to go up. So you just got to understand, well, whenever we are towards the bottom of a range, you do what the big guys are doing, and they pick up the assets at a discount. So right now, Ollie, like for yourself with Brett's bleeding. All coins are bleeding right now. First of all, pray for a Trump victory, and number two, you should just continue to buy more and more and more of these assets at the lows, because when we do eventually get into the bull run, which it happens every 4 years, it's not like it's not going to happen. You're going to be obviously making multiples on a lot more money than what you would have if you just never bought in more or DCA'd. So, but anyways, that was the point, is that the price is not going to go down. They're not going to lose money.
Trump election rain dance.
Mm-hmm. Was that the point you wanted me to make about the ETF? So I think that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, well, it was from what Louis was saying about him.
Uh-huh.
You know, saying that like he doesn't think a lot of that is showing in the. You remember?
Yes, now I remember. Got you. Yeah. So I'll go into it. So a really smart point that one of the guys we listened to made about the ETFs as well is that a lot of these big corporations, the BlackRocks, these people who are putting in billions and billions of dollars into Bitcoin, these transactions are OTC. So OTC is over the counter, meaning that they're not going to a Coinbase or a Kraken or a Binance and just placing an order for $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. That's not how this works. So again, retail, you open up a Coinbase account, you go on there and you buy, $200 worth of Bitcoin, you buy it from Coinbase. That's not what BlackRock does. BlackRock, these big corporations, they're going to go to individuals who have massive supplies of Bitcoin. These are ancient whales from back in 2012, 2010, 2014, who just had, thousands of Bitcoin. These, the crypto billionaires. So they go to these
whales.
Yeah, the ancient whales. So they go to these people who have massive supplies of Bitcoin, and they do OTC deals, so over the counter. So they'll agree upon an average price per Bitcoin. They'll settle on it, boom, 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 and then they'll make that transaction off of the books. Is this crime? Debatable.
Study it.
Study crime, though. Yeah, we actually benefit from crime, unfortunately. But is it crime? Probably. But they do it over the counter, so it's not actually showing up on the blockchain. And so the reason this is important is because these billion-dollar buys are happening behind the scenes, and it's not even showing up on the actual Bitcoin charts and in the price action. Because if these billions and billions of dollars were showing up on the ledgers or showing up in the charts, then yeah, Bitcoin would be at a much higher price than what it is right now. It would be much higher. But they're trying to mute the price so that they can get their fills. So the point is then, so what's going to happen is all these people that have all this supply of Bitcoin, they're selling it to these massive institutions to supply their ETFs. Eventually, they're going to run out. That's how it works. Eventually, the supply does run out. And what you're going to see is Bitcoin's going to go from 60, 69, 70K to 100K. And then from 100K to 200K, you're going to see that shit happen in fucking a second. Because once they've chewed through that supply, 100K to 200K Bitcoin's going to happen instantly. Because now these ETFs, these institutions are going to have to go buy Bitcoin on the open market. Once you start buying that much Bitcoin on the open market and the supply is already pretty much gone, the price is going to fucking explode. And that's where you see the bull run. That's where you see the alt seasons. So yeah, so study crime, study over-the-counter deals happening, and study supply being chewed through without people even seeing it on the charts. So again, that's why you're going to get this explosive price action on Bitcoin whenever these guys start having to come to the open market to get their supply. So, but yeah, no, that was a fantastic point that he had made.
Yeah, that was the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, fire point. All right, Logan, what the hell's this?
Huh?
This chat, Ollie's talking shit in the chat. You only had me fooled because you paid me in PayPal the last 2 weeks. He's probably thinking He's probably thinking I thought the market was tanking.
Yeah.
Uh,
If the market was tanking, he'd be wanting to get rid of his crypto and give it to you, Ollie.
exactly. No, I was paying you PayPal because it's good to have cash on hand, Ollie. So you only had me fooled because you pay Logan. I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to mean. Ollie's saying some weird shit in there. Okay. All right. Let's get
Call
into
me
the
cute.
charts. No, he's saying some. I don't know what the hell he's saying. Okay. So real quick, we already know what's going on with Bitcoin. Let me share my screen on Zoom so you can see this bees, and then I'll show you my new skills with the
Let me feast my eyes upon it.
advanced. Yeah, I'll give you the feast here. Mr. Producer. All
Ew.
right, here we go. What?
That's ugly.
Oh, yeah, super ugly. This is what a Kamala victory looks like, ladies and gentlemen. This is what, if the markets think Kamala's winning, you see a big fucking red dildo to the downside. Oh, Naeem, fantastic. Outstanding podcast. Appreciate you, player. Give us a like, huh? How about you like and comment on the stream, gentlemen? How about a couple of likes here, huh? All right, so Bitcoin, we see what's going on with here. Again, I would not pay attention to the local price action on Bitcoin. Again, it's just because of the financial markets do not like uncertainties. Once we get past this election and there's a decisive winner, we're going to get back to business. So Kamala wins, we're going to puke. Trump wins, we're going to rip cheeks. That's that. Ethereum looks even worse. I mean, it's not great, but again, we're just waiting to see for the outcome of the election. Solana does look stronger than Ethereum overall, but that's how it always plays out. Let me get this on the daily. Okay. So Solana's in a nice range here too. Solana's going to break out and is going to do very well. All right, so let's talk about some of these meme coins and these positions real quick. So something that I've been talking about a lot, and I'm just going to go ahead and give my thesis on this, is...
I've been putting on the blinders for the meme coins the past week.
Yes.
That's what I do. I start dumping, I stop looking.
Yeah. If I see red, I turn off screen.
Yeah. I don't even check the meme coins. I just check Ethereum. I say,
Oh.
no.
Yeah, I know what's happening. So, yeah.
ETH's down 3%. I'm like, oh.
Oh. So, MSTR 2100 is a meme coin that I'm in right now. So, I just want to explain this to you guys in a technical perspective. So, this is basically a rip off of SPX 6900. So if you guys haven't been watching the markets, SPX 6900 is one of the newest meme coins that had gone crazy on Ethereum. And it's a spoof of the stock market. So the whole point of SPX 6900 is a spoof of S&P 500. So this had done incredibly well. It literally ripped up from, beginning of September, sub 80 million, $70 million market cap. Now it's at 643 million. So it fucking blew up. Okay, good meme. So MSTR 2100 came out as well, and this was basically a similar idea of S&P 500, spoof of SPX 6900. This is for MicroStrategy. So for those of you who don't know, Michael Saylor is the owner of MicroStrategy, which is a stock that's traded on the regular stock market. Michael Saylor is the biggest proponent, pretty much the figurehead for Bitcoin right now. So all his company does is just get funding or gets out loans or gets funding from other people to just literally buy Bitcoin. That is his whole company's strategy. Buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin. Well, MicroStrategy's been ripping and is almost in price discovery again. And why is it going up? Well, because Bitcoin's going up. Okay. So as Bitcoin does well, MicroStrategy does well. They're both pumping. Cool. So now there's a meme coin tied to the stock MicroStrategy, which is MSTR 2100. 2100 being a spoof off of the $21 million supply or 21 million coin supply of Bitcoin. So anyways, SPX 6900 topped out at about $800-900 million market cap. MSTR 2100, when I saw it for the first time and I bought it, was at a $20 million market cap. 20 million. So a 10x would only be a $200 million market cap. So I figured, well, it makes sense. The meme makes sense. Bitcoin's about to be in price discovery. Q4 is the most bullish time for Bitcoin. Me, using my super genius brain, thought, well, I mean, this makes sense. If Bitcoin's going to do well, I mean, this would probably be doing well too. So I bought it at about $20 million market cap. Now it's about 45, 50 million market cap. So I'm already up over 2x on it. And it was a good play. And now whales So whales being some of the top holders of SPX 6900, that meme coin, they're also starting to buy into MSTR 2100, which is also super bullish, because if they're seeing value in it and they're starting to get bags into this meme coin, then that means it's probably going to do well. So I actually put on fibs on here to see if it actually respected fibs. So fibs is a good way to use, or a good tool to use whenever you're trying to figure out what a coin's going to do when it's in price discovery, because you don't have any support resistance lines to play off of. You have no market structure to work off of. So a good strategy is to use Fibonacci sequences. So what you do is I did them on log and off of log, 2 different fibs. So the green fib is for the regular view. Okay. So what you do is you take a range from the top to the bottom. So if you see this one right here. Okay, so I got the point from the top of the range to the bottom of the range, which is right about here. And then you do a Fibonacci sequence. So it draws fibs on here. And look what happened. Who could have foreseen? The top for SPX, or for MSTR 2100, they front ran it just barely. I mean, it basically hit it. It was only a couple cents away. They front ran it, the fib, but look where it topped out at. Literally at the first fib, right? Which was 1.618 or 1.618. So it respected the fibs. So here's how you want to look at this. So we say, all right, MSTR 2100 respected the first fib line. So now what we're going to do is, because we front ran it, we're going to start a new range over here. Okay, range. And when it shoots up again and it has the next top, we're going to look for this 2.618 line. So we could expect, or we're going to bet, that the next high for MSTR 2100 is going to be around $4.17. So from where it's at right now, that's, again, another 2+X. So right now, while the what's it called, altcoins are bleeding because of the election, would be a great time to buy this, because from where it's at right now, as long as we respect the fibs, the next top should be around $4.15. Oh yeah, it puts the number right here, which is fire. $4.15. You're up already over a 2x on a pretty confident buy. So that's how you can use fibs to check out and see what you think the tops are going to be. And then if you look at it on log, so it's also good to look at fibs on log as well. You can see we respected the fibs on here as well. Right? Boom. Touch it. And then if you want to look at log, the next top would be around $4.40. But because it's closer to the green one, we're going to go off of the green. So off of log. And so that's how you can basically predict tops. But yeah, exactly. Where is Buvnesh? Ollie? He's probably sleeping. Oh, Sam's in here too. Dead 49 with 2% unknown. Love it. Sam's a new guy, by the way, Logan. New guy in our group that we're chatting it up with. It's Ollie's buddy. He's another young hustler. So I see him in the live stream. We got 5 people watching.
UK too.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, them UK
UK
boys.
gutter boys.
Yeah.
Live from the gutter.
They don't know about that Roddy Rich, by the way. That's why I was playing on Saturdays. I keep playing them Roddy on Saturdays. Uh-huh. They're all about their Central C and the Bandem or the Mandem, or whatever.
Mandem.
Yeah. So, any thoughts on this Bees? What do you think?
No, I mean, I know that I've heard a lot of people talk about MSTR saying that it's always kind of front run Bitcoin.
Yes.
You know, it's always been kind of out ahead of Bitcoin and kind of set the tone for what it's going to do. And I remember before Bitcoin really started making a push for new all-time highs, MSTR was already damn near in price discovery. And that's kind of been the trend. I've seen the charts put side by side for MSTR versus Bitcoin. And yeah, it's always just a little bit out ahead of it, normally outperforming it by just a little bit. So yeah, I mean, I know there's hype around it. I know a lot of people follow it to kind of get an idea of what's to come for Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. And obviously the meme coin making fun of the S&P 500 performed extremely well. Exactly. So with a lot of hype around MicroStrategy and people already tracking it, I don't know why it wouldn't take off.
Exactly.
And it's playing the numbers, it's playing the law of the fibs. So
look at this. So this is the actual stock MicroStrategy. So this is where you can try to look for some alpha on what Bitcoin's going to do. So MicroStrategy came out during the .com bubble, which you guys, if you don't understand what the .com bubble is, you should definitely research that and understand what happened at the stock market at that time. This was basically an opportunity for people to get absolutely fucking filthy rich off of the .com bubble, the internet coming out. And then a bunch of companies that came out based off of technology and the internet and that type of innovation, they all blew up. And they were trading at ridiculous evaluations. So people were getting filthy rich trading off of these .com companies. So MicroStrategy's all-time high was actually, and think about how insane this is. Think about how much of a bubble this was. MicroStrategy's all-time high was back in the year 2000, 24 years ago. Think about how much inflation's happened since then, money printing, just the general appreciation of all kinds of stocks and companies. Its all-time high was back in the year 2000. That's how fucking insane the .com bubble was. And so now, look at how low the stock price came. I mean, it was trading at $6 a dollar.
The one part, yeah, it's right. Yeah, it dipped to 50 cents.
Yeah, 50 cents. It was trading at $332 in the year 2000. That was the bubble that happened. This is the bubble that we're about to have in meme coins and in crypto. This is why you guys don't understand how fucking rich people are going to get off of this cycle. It is actually insane. So right now, MicroStrategy is trading at 227. It's still not even at its all-time highs from the year 2000. So anyways, now you look at MicroStrategy currently, it's pumping. It's pumping hard. Why is it pumping hard? Because people believe Bitcoin's going to pump hard. So now trade's correlated to Bitcoin. So anyways, my point that I was making, my thesis for that meme coin that I bought, the MicroStrategy 2100, is if this stock is performing incredibly well, it's going to go towards price discovery, Bitcoin is going towards and is about to be in price discovery, then obviously the meme coin is going to perform well too. So to me, it's a no-brainer, and it's still a small enough cap where if you only buy $1,000, $2,000 worth of it, you'll still come out five figures, right? Because even if it's a 10x from where it's at right this second, $400 million market cap, you don't think it could do that by the end of this cycle? Of course it could. I would say even higher probably if it's going to trade anything correlated to SPX 6900. So I think in terms of just allocating a couple grand to it, it's a fucking banger play because I definitely see a 10x coming out of it. So anyways, that's the new meme coin that I'm championing, which I like a lot. And if you want to look just real quick, you got anything on that, Bees?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great play. And I think one of the big things I've been thinking about this whole week was something I think we mentioned last week was, if you remove SHIB and Doge from the meme coin space, there's only about $30 billion market cap. The whole meme coin, if you take out SHIB and Doge, it's about $30 billion, which relative to the entire crypto market is fucking peanuts. Right. So yeah, I think this bull run, there's just so much money that's been printed and put into circulation since COVID. I mean, it's fucking insane. So I think that, yeah, there's going to be a ton of money flowing into meme coins, especially in Q1, 2025, which I think we both know at this point. But yeah, I think it's just thinking bigger and just, we talk about some of the numbers for some of the price targets for Brett, for Pepe, for Andy, for Landwolf, for these different meme coins. And it seems kind of lofty, I think, but whenever you look at how small of an amount of money is actually in the meme coin space right now, excluding those two coins, and you think about, once retail really gets involved this cycle, I mean, for anyone that's watching the stream, I think it's really important to remember how ahead of the game you are by even talking about crypto right now before there's a ton of hype around it. It's like, obviously the people that are in the crypto space are constantly talking about it. We've been in this range for months and months and months when people have been expecting a bull run a little bit earlier. But I mean, I was telling Priyamo in 2020, I lost money buying Dogecoin. And it went up to 90 billion market cap. I bought it at like 85 billion. So that's something like Pepe right now that we're seeing at 4 billion, 4.5 billion, thinking that, we're kind of behind or like nervous to buy it because it's already gone up a lot this cycle. It's like people are going to be buying Pepe, aping into Pepe at 50 billion 60 billion come January. And it's hard to wrap your mind around because, yeah, we've just been in this fucking range from hell, but it's going to come to an end. I mean, it's the bull run's inevitable at this point. So, yeah, I think just thinking bigger and realizing what kind of numbers are actually possible
Right.
4 years after last cycle. Seeing a meme coin before go to 90 bill. I mean, I bet you there's going to be a I mean, I think Dogecoin alone, I think it'll go back to 100 bill this cycle because everyone knows it. So,
I
yeah.
agree. And that's it's such an important thing to keep in the back of your mind, as which always continues to give me so much belief in this, and just seeing this all the way through until next year is because, number one, I've seen it happen twice. I've also literally folded on multiple bags in the past where if I just do the math on it, I know exactly how much money I would have right now off of those bags that I had sold prematurely. So I have a very intimate relationship with the idea that this will pump its face off because I've seen it happen multiple times. So that's a great thing for belief for me. And the second thing is what you just said in terms of 2021, 4 years ago, well, 3 years ago, but about to be 4 years ago. What was possible with with less liquidity? It was 4 years or 3 or 4 years ago. Less exposure, less developed, etc. Everything's gonna grow over time. So for Doge to get to 90 billion in 2021, Pepe is actually about 3.5 billion dollar market cap right now. To think that you can't get at least a 10x on Pepe, I honestly think is foolish. So even if you're just the most conservative, I don't want to look at it, I don't want to have to worry about it, I don't want to have to do anything, investor, not financial advice, but I would, if you just want to play it that safe, just ape into Pepe. If you ape into Pepe and just hit a 10x off of that, which I think is super conservative, you made out like a bandit. Put in 10 grand into Pepe, you got 100 grand by the time of 10x's. That's not a joke. It's like you just get the money into it because it's not about what's happening today. It's about where do you think it's going to be at in 6 months, because that's what's going to matter. And so again, it just gives me so much belief because I say, okay, well, if the cap for a meme coin was 90 billion last cycle, do we really think we're never going to be able to go past that number again? No, of course we're going to go past that number. There's going to be another asset that breaks that. So the point is just, well, be allocated to the assets that are going to do that. Brett is at like a $750 million market cap right now. You're telling me Brett can't go to 10 billion by the end of the cycle if Pepe goes to 160, $80 billion market cap? Of course Brett's going to hit in 10x. Andy, Wolf, same thing, 10x. Like those I look at as just soft toss 10x's, which is nuts because 10x is ridiculous return on investment. But to me, it's a soft toss 10x. Boom. Brett, once base chain starts cooking and Coinbase really starts pumping out their advertising and their marketing for the base chain, you don't think Brett's going to go to a $10 billion market cap? I just don't see a world in which Coinbase doesn't make their L2 something that becomes profitable for them and becomes a big deal. The Coinbase is a company. They're the biggest crypto exchange in the country. Obviously, they're going to onboard their users to the base chain. It's just going to happen. Like it's just going to happen. Like how could it not happen?
Programmed.
Yeah, it's programmed. Like what are you going to do? Everybody's going to download the Coinbase wallet, which people are already doing, and just not buy Brett? Of course they're going to buy Brett.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think one last point for that is you look at the cycle in 2016, Q4 2016, Q1 2017. At that point, if you look at the previous Bitcoin dominance charts, it's like at that point, there wasn't a whole lot. I mean, obviously there was meme coins and there was other coins and stuff, but Bitcoin really had a chokehold on the crypto market.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the last cycle 2020 2021 was really the first cycle where people were trying to figure out and learning how to buy all these other coins, how to use exchanges, how to do swaps, how to, get onto different blockchains. It was really the first time people had been exposed to it. So I think that obviously now 4 years later, just the general awareness of crypto is a lot more widespread. A lot more people are familiar with it, or if not familiar with it, just know that people make a lot of money from it. They're aware of that part. So I think that, yeah, for this cycle, there's a lot of positives playing into it. Number one, a lot more people know how to buy meme coins and can help other people with buying them whenever they start to explode and starts to get a lot of traction. Number two, a lot more people just saw and paid attention, I think, to the last cycle compared to 2016 and saw how many other, like, I'm sure everyone last cycle pretty much knew someone that they knew that made a bunch of money off that, and they don't want to miss out on it. They don't want to have FOMO. And then, yeah, I mean, I think that just a lot of younger kids, I think, are getting more familiar with crypto. Like the next generation that is now old enough to be able to buy crypto and be able to play this cycle all grew up with this technology, all grew up with crypto being a part of their childhood and knowing about it at, sixth, seventh, eighth grade. So that's going to be a ton of people that are going to be playing in the market this time around. A lot of the boomers and stuff are kind of fading out. The people that wouldn't have been participating or putting in money because they just look at it as a casino. So I think we're going to have a lot more participation too in this cycle.
Absolutely. And the ETFs make it fantastic too, because all of that boomer money that's going to start transferring, that wealth start transferring to the younger generations, they're making that possible by putting it into Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bang, you provide all that liquidity into Bitcoin and into Ethereum. All the people that are holding Bitcoin and Ethereum that aren't actually the boomers themselves, they now have this wealth effect because of that. Because now Bitcoin blows up, Ethereum blows up. They're holding these assets. Now they're way richer thanks to the boomers. And then they're going to sell those assets off and start to rotate down into altcoins. And that's whenever you see alt season. So that ETF catalyst, those boomers putting in all that bread into Bitcoin and Ethereum, even if they themselves aren't the ones selling their assets and rotating them into altcoins, which they won't, because if they're just buying ETFs, they can't buy altcoins unless they download the app and do it themselves. But even if they themselves aren't rotating their capital down into the altcoins, the other people who hold those assets are going to benefit from that wealth effect as well. And they're going to get richer off of Bitcoin and Ethereum. And they're going to rotate that into our altcoins. And so that's the game. That's the bet that we're playing as meme coin holders and altcoin traders, is that all these people who are going to get super rich off of Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to rotate their profits into more volatile, smaller market cap altcoins in order to further grow their gains, further grow their bags once they feel like their upside has been muted on Bitcoin and Ethereum. And that's whenever we benefit from all that extra liquidity and our altcoins start to run and rip fucking face. So that's the bet that we're making. The last thing we'll show before we pop off of here is I wanted to show you guys the reason that I have this thesis for MSTR 2100. So the meme coin is on Ethereum. So you guys can easily just look it up on CoinGecko to get the contract address if you want to buy it. It's right here, MSTR 2100. It's on Ethereum, so you can get the contract address. Yeah, $42 million market cap, still plenty small enough. Contract address is right here, 0x420, by the way. So for you reefer heads, you weed smokers, there you go. So here's the correlation between Bitcoin and MicroStrategy. So I was talking about how Michael Saylor is the one who owns MicroStrategy. Look at how the stock trades compared to Bitcoin itself. So MicroStrategy, their whole deal is all they do is buy Bitcoin. So Bitcoin pumps right down here from this low right here. Let me move this here right here. So Bitcoin puts in this low right here. MicroStrategy, guess where they're at? Low right there. Bitcoin pumps. What does MicroStrategy do? Pump. Bitcoin ranges. MicroStrategy ranges. Bitcoin pumps. What does MicroStrategy do? Pump. Bitcoin had a little pullback. MicroStrategy had a little pullback. So it's like, how more obvious do you want it to be? It's just MicroStrategy is just a beta play to Bitcoin. If Bitcoin performs well and starts to pump, well, so is MicroStrategy. Well, if we think that we're bullish on Bitcoin and MicroStrategy, then I'm going to be bullish on MSTR 2100. To me, it just makes sense. So it's just, I mean, look at the charts. It's the same fucking chart. So it's pretty simple.
I think the important thing to look at, though, is the percentage gain on the, if you look at the right side. I mean, it's, this recent pump from beginning of September through right now. I mean, MSTR is up, what, over 200%? Where Bitcoin's up 40. So it's like, it's, same chart, but yeah, it's basically being levered Bitcoin right now. I mean, it's moving 5 times as much. So,
Exactly. And so that's exactly why we call it a beta play. So whenever me and Logan say beta, the reason you buy beta as opposed to the alpha asset is because on the beta, you're basically going to get a larger return on your money. So what Logan just said is what we're talking about. So Bitcoin went up a certain percent, but if you were holding MicroStrategy as opposed to Bitcoin, you would have made more money on MicroStrategy because MicroStrategy went up a larger percentage. This is exactly what we're doing with Andy, Wolf, Brett, Pepe, MSTR 2100, all these meme coins that are beta to Ethereum, which Ethereum is beta to Bitcoin. All we're doing is betting that Bitcoin's going to go up, but instead of holding Bitcoin and getting a 50% or 100% return, we're going to hold Brett or we're going to hold Pepe and get a 500%, 1,000%, 2,000% return, which is obviously going to be a lot more impactful on a smaller bag as opposed to if you had $100 million and you just want to save 2-3x. So that's exactly what beta is. It's going to move in correlation to its alpha asset, but with higher returns because it's a smaller market cap. So that's what you see with MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy, if you want to trade in the actual stock market, but you're bullish on Bitcoin, it's a good asset to hold because if Bitcoin goes up 100%, MicroStrategy will go up 200%. So that's the strategy. That's what we're doing here. We're going to be, boys, we're going to be buzzing by the end of Q1 next year. I'm telling you right now. Don't worry about the local price action. Just continue to buy more and more and more on every dip. I promise all of you, consistency, being level-headed, not being emotional about this kind of stuff, and this translates into all aspects of your life and all aspects of business. The more you just buy the lows, buy the lows, buy the lows, do the opposite of what everybody else does, you guys are going to come out like fucking heroes at the end of this cycle, and you're going to be very happy that you did so.
yep. Yeah. And I think the last thing to mention for the beta play, I think it's important to mention the alternative of it just for what Ollie switching his bread into Ethereum. So with the election coming up and obviously, Kamala catching up a little bit in the polls or at least making it a little bit of a closer race than it was appearing to be, there's been a pullback. So, for you, Ollie, it's like right now it's probably not a bad move because if Trump wins, you're going to want to buy back your bread immediately because it's going to be a move to the upside. But if Kamala wins, like Priamo said, it's going to be a local move to the downside. So in beta plays, obviously it's great whenever it's a bull market, things are moving up because it's moving up dramatically more than the asset that it's, moving in accordance to. So for Brett, even though it's on the base chain, usually it'll pretty similarly follow the moves of Ethereum, just more aggressively. It's great on the upside, but on the downside, you have to be able to handle the volatility. So if Ethereum moves down 5%, you're probably going to see a 20 to 30% move to the downside. Brett's a little bit more stable than some of these other coins, but like Andy and Landwolf, if ETH will move up 2-3%, they'll move up 30%. But then when ETH moves down 5%, they'll move down 15 to 20%. So yeah, right now where there's a little bit of unexpected movement coming up and potentially a move to the downside locally for a little bit, your ETH is going to depreciate a lot less than you would if you were in a more volatile bag like Brett.
Exactly.
So it's probably not a bad move till we see what happens.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yes. Beta plays will be more to the upside, but with every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. If they're going to move more to the upside, they will also move more to the downside. You just cannot be a coward and sell. That's the worst mistake I've ever made in my life is, and the times that I've sold my bags in crypto in previous cycles wasn't even necessarily because of volatility. I actually just sold it because I was an idiot and I wanted to pay for something in the short term.
Spring break.
Yeah, my most famous example of this was when I bought Bitcoin at around $6,000 or $7,000 before the 2021 bull run. It was actually literally 2020 because it was COVID happened while we were in Mexico. Bobby, who's watching the stream right now, was on that spring break trip with me. I sold my Bitcoin and my crypto to pay like 3-4 racks for this all-inclusive trip to fucking Mexico like an idiot. Became the most expensive trip I've ever been on. So, whoops. So yeah, don't do that.
$60,000 spring break trip.
Yeah. Woo. It was a good time, huh? Not that good though. All right. Outside of that, gentlemen, we appreciate we had a good audience today. We were peaked at 6 current watchers. We had people liking, commenting on the stream.
Hey.
The people love it, bees. So let me go ahead and end the stream.